You ever notice how in a storm it's not the wind that breaks the tree, it's the way the tree refuses to bend? Calmness is that bend. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is strength under pressure. And if you can learn it, it will change how you walk into every room, every problem, every fight. You ever notice what happens when life hits you fast? Your chest gets tight, your heartbeat speeds up, your thoughts scatter like birds. That's what pressure does. It hijacks your body before you even realize it. And most people, they never notice it. They live on autopilot. They get angry without thinking. They panic without planning. They lose their ground before they even know they're standing on it. But here's the secret. Calmness begins with one thing you already carry with you, your breath. Think about it. Breath is life, and yet most of us don't pay attention to it until we're gasping for air. When you own your breath, you own the moment. When you slow it down, you slow down time. Suddenly, that wave of stress, it doesn't drown you. It passes by you. That's why when people say, calm down, take a deep breath, they're not just throwing out cliches. They're giving you the most practical tool for strength under pressure. I'll give you an example. Picture an athlete at the free throw line. The stadium is screaming, the scoreboard is tight, and everyone is waiting to see if he cracks. What does he do? He doesn't just grab the ball and throw it. He breathes, one deep inhale, one slow exhale, because in that breath he's telling his body, we're steady, we got this. And right there, before the shot is even taken, the battle is already half won. Now, that's not just for athletes. That's for you in an argument, in a job interview, in a crisis, in the middle of heartbreak. Your breath is the anchor. It's the bridge between your mind and your body. Control it, and you regain control of yourself. Lose it, and you hand your power away. The beauty of it is, it doesn't take hours of practice. Just start small. Next time you feel that frustration rising, don't let it own you. Pause, breathe in deep through your nose. Hold it and let it out slowly through your mouth. Feel how your shoulders drop. Feel how your heartbeat steadies. That's not weakness, that's training. That's you stepping into calmness instead of falling into chaos. And let me tell you, this calm breathing isn't about escaping the moment, it's about owning it. Because the one who can stay calm when the world is shaking, that's the one who gets remembered. That's the one people trust. That's the one who makes better choices, stronger moves, smarter decisions. You don't have to wait for stress to practice it either. Do it daily. When you wake up, breathe with intention. Before a big decision, breathe with awareness. Even in silence, train yourself to slow down and feel every inhale and exhale. What you're really doing is building a shield. Every breath becomes armor. So when the pressure comes, and it will, you're not blindsided. You're prepared, because here's the truth. Calmness isn't found in the absence of storms. Calmness is built in the middle of them. And your breath, that simple, powerful rhythm inside of you, is the starting point. It's the doorway to calmness. And once you walk through it, you'll find something most people never discover, that calmness is not just peace, it's power. Life will always test you. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, a coworker disrespects you, a friend betrays you, and in that moment you feel it, that surge of heat rising in your chest, that fire in your stomach. That's the reaction trying to take control. It's raw, it's emotional, it's fast, but here's the truth. Reaction is easy. Response is hard. And the difference between the two is the difference between losing yourself and leading yourself. See, a reaction is instinct, it's immediate. It doesn't ask questions, it doesn't pause, it doesn't care about consequences. You yell back, you slam the door, you send the text you regret. That's reaction. But a response is deliberate. A response takes power. A response means you pause, you breathe, you think, you choose. That pause, that small space between what happens to you and what you decide to do about it, that space is where strength lies. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a fire breaks out in a crowded building. One person screams, pushes, runs, that's reaction. Another person stands still, assesses, guides people to safety, that's response. The fire is the same, the danger is the same, but the outcome completely different, and all because one person reacted and the other responded. Now I want you to think about your own life. How many times have you reacted too quickly and wished you could take it back? Maybe it was words you said in anger. Maybe it was a decision you rushed into. Maybe it was an opportunity you walked away from because emotions clouded your judgment. That's the price of reaction. But when you train yourself to respond, you flip the script. You take the power away from the heat of the moment and give it back to your wisdom, your patience, your calmness. The challenge is that the world will always try to push your buttons. People will test you. Circumstances will corner you. Life will try to make you snap, but you have a choice. You don't control what happens, but you do control how you answer. And that choice, that's where growth happens. Think about the leaders you admire, the ones people follow in chaos. They're not the loudest. They're not the ones throwing tantrums. They're the ones who hold their ground, who speak when others are shouting, who move with intention when others are running in circles. They are responders, not reactors. Calmness gives them that edge. Calmness gives them the patience to listen before speaking, to think before acting, to see the bigger picture when everyone else is stuck in the moment. And don't get it twisted, responding doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean staying silent when you need to speak. It doesn't mean letting people walk over you. Responding means you're not controlled by the situation. You control yourself inside the situation. You still act, but you act with clarity. You still move, but you move with purpose. So the next time you feel that heat rising, stop for a moment. Take a breath, ask yourself, am I about to react or am I about to respond? Because one will drain your energy and leave you with regret. The other will build your strength and earn you respect. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Slowly, that pause turns into wisdom, that pause turns into discipline, and before you know it, people begin to see you differently. They see someone steady, someone grounded, someone they can trust. That is the power of response. It's not just self-control, it's self-mastery. And when you master yourself, there's nothing life can throw at you that can break you. We live in a noisy world. Everywhere you turn, people are shouting to be heard. Social media is loud. News is loud. Arguments in homes, in offices, in politics, all of it loud. Everybody wants the last word. Everybody wants to win the argument. But here's the truth. When everybody is shouting, nobody's listening. And the one who stays calm, the one who stays quiet, becomes the one people lean in to hear. Because silence, real silence, carries more power than noise ever could. Think about the last time someone raised their voice at you. Your natural instinct might have been to match their volume, to push back with the same energy. But when you didn't, when you stayed calm, when you stayed quiet, what happened? They eventually ran out of steam. Their words lost their weight, and suddenly your silence became louder than their shouting. That's not weakness. That's strategy. That's strength disguised as calm. Here's the thing. Silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say. Silence means you're choosing your words carefully. It means you're not rushing to fill the space with noise. It means you're letting your presence, your energy, your calmness do the talking for you. People remember that. People respect that. Because in a world that's constantly screaming, silence feels like peace. And peace always draws attention. Let me tell you a story. Picture a courtroom. The prosecutor is shouting, pounding the desk, throwing accusations. The jury is watching closely. The defense attorney doesn't raise his voice. He waits, he listens, and when the noise dies down, he speaks softly, steadily, deliberately. Who do you think the jury leans in to hear? Not the one shouting, the one who used silence as his weapon. You see, silence creates space. It creates anticipation. It makes people pay attention. That's why the most powerful speakers aren't the ones who never stop talking. They're the ones who know how to pause. They're the ones who let a silence hang in the air until the weight of it sinks in. Because when you pause, people wonder what's coming next, and that wonder keeps them locked in. Silence also gives you time. Time to think, time to process, time to choose not just what to say, but how to say it. And when you do speak, your words carry more weight. It's like a drumbeat. If the drum is constantly banging, you stop noticing. But if the drum only strikes once in a while, each hit shakes the room. That's the power of silence. Now, I'm not telling you to be silent all the time. I'm saying, don't be afraid to use silence as a tool. In an argument, silence can calm the fire. In negotiations, silence can create pressure. In leadership, silence can build respect. And in personal life, silence can bring peace, because silence doesn't just affect others, it affects you. It centers you, it pulls you out of the chaos and back into control. So the next time you're surrounded by noise, whether it's outside or inside your own head, remember this. You don't have to match it. You don't have to outshout the world. You can choose silence. You can choose calm. And when you do, people will notice. They'll listen harder. They'll lean in closer. And they'll remember you not for how loud you were, but for how powerful your calmness was. Because in the end, noise fades, shouting fades, but silence stays with people. Silence echoes. And when you master it, when you learn to let silence do the heavy lifting, you'll find out something most people never realize. The loudest voice in the room is often the one that doesn't have to raise itself at all. When you see an athlete step onto the court, the fields, the track, you're not just seeing raw talent. You're seeing hours, days, years of training, sweat, sacrifice, repetition. That's how the body becomes strong. But here's the mistake most people make. They train their bodies. They hustle for money. They grind for success. But they neglect the most powerful muscle they have, the mind. Calmness doesn't just show up when life gets hard. Calmness is something you train for, just like an athlete trains for a championship. See, the mind is like any other muscle. If you don't work it, it gets weak. If you don't challenge it, it gets lazy. If you don't discipline it, it runs wild. And when chaos hits, that undisciplined mind will betray you. But if you train it, if you work it, if you sharpen it every day, then when pressure comes, your calmness will step forward like a reflex. You won't have to force it. It'll already be there. Think about it. An athlete doesn't wait until game day to prepare. He doesn't walk into the championship hoping he'll figure it out. No, he practices in silence. He runs the drills when no one's watching. He builds the strength long before the crowd shows up. That's the same way you build calmness. You don't wait until you're angry, stressed, or panicked to suddenly try to be calm. You train it daily. How do you train it? Through discipline, through small habits that sharpen the mind. Meditation, prayer, reflection, journaling, even something as simple as sitting quietly, breathing, and listening to your own thoughts. It doesn't sound dramatic, but it's just like lifting weights. Each rep builds strength. Each moment of practice builds a reserve of calm you can draw from when life tests you. Let me give you an image. Imagine two soldiers. One has trained every day. He's disciplined. He's prepared. The other took it easy. He skipped the work. Now both of them are dropped into battle. Who's more likely to stay calm under fire? The one who trained, the one who practiced until calmness wasn't just a choice, it was part of him. That's what you want for your mind. Training your mind also means feeding it the right things. Just like an athlete watches his diet, you have to watch what you consume mentally. If all you feed your mind is negativity, gossip, noise, then don't be surprised when your mind feels restless and weak. But if you feed it with wisdom, books, uplifting voices, silence, discipline, your mind becomes strong. And a strong mind builds calmness that nothing outside can break. The truth is, people think calmness is a personality trait. Oh, that person's just naturally calm. No, calmness is a skill. It's built, it's earned, it's practiced, and the more you train it, the more it grows. Just like muscles don't grow overnight, calmness doesn't either. It's a daily commitment. And with each day, with each practice, you're building a fortress inside yourself. So when the chaos shows up, and it will, you won't panic. You won't lose yourself. You'll stand steady. And people around you will wonder, how do they stay so calm when everything's falling apart? The answer will be simple. You trained for it. You put in the reps. You built it when no one was watching. That's the power of training your mind. Just like the body, it can be shaped. It can be strengthened. And when you treat it with the same discipline, the same respect, the same daily commitment, calmness becomes more than just something you hope for. It becomes who you are. Anybody can panic. Anybody can complain. Anybody can lose their temper when things don't go their way. That's common. That's ordinary. But leadership is different. Leadership shows up when everything is falling apart and one person remains steady. Leadership is not just about giving orders or standing in front. Leadership is about being the calm in the middle of the storm. And that calmness, that unshakable presence, is what separates leaders from followers. Think about it. When chaos breaks loose, where do people look? They don't look to the loudest voice. They don't look to the one pointing fingers. They don't look to the one panicking. They look for the one who's steady, the one who's breathing easy when everybody else is gasping for air, the one who thinks clearly when everybody else is drowning in noise. That's the person who earns trust. That's the person who becomes the leader whether they asked for it or not. History shows it again and again. In moments of crisis, it's the calm voices that carry the most weight. When fear spreads, the leader is the one who steadies the room. When emotions flare, the leader is the one who brings clarity. When people lose direction, the leader is the one who provides vision. And none of that comes from panic. None of that comes from noise. It comes from calmness. Now let me tell you why. Calmness builds trust. People don't follow leaders because they're perfect. They don't follow leaders because they have all the answers. They follow leaders because they feel safe in their presence. And calmness creates safety. When you're calm, people believe you can handle the weight. They believe you won't crack under pressure. They believe that even if the storm rages on, you'll still be standing. That's why calmness turns influence into leadership. But here's the key. Calmness doesn't mean you're emotionless. It doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you don't feel pressure. Calmness means you don't let those things control you. You still feel the storm, but you don't become the storm. You still feel the fire, but you don't burn others with it. That kind of strength draws people in. That kind of strength makes people say, I want to follow that. And leadership isn't just about leading teams, companies, or nations. It's also about leading your family, your friends, and most importantly, yourself. Because if you can't lead yourself with calmness, you'll never lead anyone else. When you choose calmness in your own battles, when you respond instead of react, when you breathe instead of break, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of carrying more. And every time you prove it, your influence grows. Think about the people in your own life you look up to. Chances are, they're not the ones who lost their cool every time something went wrong. They're the ones who held their ground. The ones who didn't let emotions make the decisions for them. The ones who showed you, by example, that calmness isn't just about peace, it's about strength. So if you want to step into leadership, if you want to be the one people turn to when the pressure is on, start with calmness. Practice it, live it, breathe it. Because when the storm comes and everyone else is running in circles, people won't remember who shouted the loudest. They'll remember who stood still, steady, unshaken. And in that moment, without ever having to say it, you'll become the leader they follow. That's the power of calmness. It doesn't just make you stronger. It makes others stronger because of you. And that is leadership. So here's what I want you to take with you. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is not standing still while life passes you by. Calmness is strength. It is the strength to breathe when everyone else is panicking. It is the strength to respond when everyone else is reacting. It is the strength to let silence speak when noise tries to drown you out. It is the strength to train your mind every single day until calm becomes your natural state. And it is the strength to step into leadership, not because you shouted the loudest, but because you stood the strongest. Life will test you, storms will come. People will try to shake you, break you, push you off balance. And in those moments, you will have a choice. You can be like everyone else, reactive, frantic, noisy, or you can be different. You can be calm, you can be steady, you can be unshakable. Because when the storm passes, and it always passes, people won't remember the chaos. They'll remember the calm. They'll remember the one who didn't break. They'll remember the one who kept their ground. And that can be you, so breathe, pause, stand firm. Let your calmness be your strength, and let your strength be the thing that carries others through the storm. Because in the end, the world doesn't need more noise. The world needs more calm.